Good morning, everyone. We have a bat in the house. Yep. Last night, even though our corridor out there is on our second floor, it's a little dark. So, but I saw something on the floor. And I'm going, what is that? And I had just cleaned day before yesterday. Oh yeah, and look, I'm back to this. Um, and I thought, what is that? Besides that, we have a house in the mouse I still haven't caught yet. Um, I said we leave the door open downstairs, but I don't think that bat, even at night, that bat did not come in here uh, during one of those times. I've been hearing something. We have a loft space, yes, up here, and on every room there is a space where you can put some stuff, this, that, and it's kind of neat. Our closets are not, yeah. we don't have closets like regular people have in their homes. They're up high, out of the way. People can store their stuff. I wonder why people do that. It's stuff, there is the last space that needed to be cleaned out again because of the dust that okay. How does dust accumulate on things? I mean, this thick, and it's not being used, right? Yes? Okay. I'm just saying, guys. Where is people's minds and hearts when it comes to accumulating things that are just ending up in boxes without any kind of use? Or just saying, I don't have that anymore. Did I ever have that? I don't think so. Well, anyway, I've been hearing something. And in this house, this is a wood house. Everything's wood. And even after 20 years, still sometimes, depending on the weather, this, that, you suddenly hear another. It's an interesting kind of noise. When wood settles more, it cracks more. It's still, after all these years, it's still working. Right? These logs are still working, and so one doesn't pay too much attention to it, except for I have to say, man, that sounds like fluttering, or this sounds like something. So what is going on up in there? Now about the last month or so, and then I'm seeing the bat poop. I'm going, there's a bat's been somewhere here, and they've been active for about 3 or 4 weeks, but yeah. So there it is. We'll see if it's still in here. I didn't see it flying around, but that's not the first time. I know, it's kind of funny. Now, again, what? So one or two people had bats flying in their hair, probably because they were just low enough, or maybe they had some critters in their hair. So, okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, so bats flew in their hair. This has never happened here. Ever, ever, never, ever. Oh, and there's a phone call. You might have to go to work. Oh, no, don't take that. I'll have to wait. I'm in the middle of the video now. I'll call her back later. Oh, my friend of mine. Yes. What's more important, right? Answer every call, this and that. As I said, when I talk, people start looking at their cell phones. This, I guess I'm not. I'm talking. I can talk to spirit world. They always listen. Right? I don't need to be around people who are doing this while we're trying to what? Have a conversation, or rather, I guess whatever I have to say isn't all that important. It's fine. But again, I'm not going to sit there and going, well, so should I wait until they're done? I'm not doing that. If you're in a company of people right, around you and you're doing stuff like that, you're being rude, disrespectful, and you know what? I don't need to be around people like that. I'm just saying. Yes? But anyway, so will not do that. My friend will have to wait. I'm in the middle of something right now, right? Yes? You're more important? Well, I started this. continue until I'm done with it before I run for what? Yes? Or, I'm sorry, my cell phone dinged. I gotta, that's wrong. People, that's wrong. Huh? Interesting, I have to mention that right now. Okay. So we had bats in the house flying around. Where do we live? Again, what are you going to do, right? We used to have a lot of bats here and no mosquitoes. And there was a few years ago, there was it was called a white nose fungus that went around, killed a lot of bats. Yeah. I wonder, then we had some more years, it's fine now, ago we had, it was called the blue, uh, blue nose disease, blue something for the deer, and the deer were just dying off with this disease. Um, I've come across a fox so diseased that I was really worried and called the wildlife, and they never responded. So I made sure that it was disposed of properly, but I ended up killing it myself with a shovel because it was in such bad shape and just miserable, you could tell. And yeah, it is what it is, but sometimes it's better to put something out of its misery than, oh, what could we do, this, that, and then do what, right? Yes, kind of spread the disease. We have animals here, right? Well, anyway, I wonder with all these diseases, is it just a natural occurrence, again, that just happens to kind of keep the population of certain things down? Because I see that in plants too. We'll have something here that, oh, people consider invasive, and I'm going, oh yeah, but that's a really, really good herb, so, yeah. And I end up finding that it'll last for 2 or 3 years, and then suddenly it dies down. It dies down where I would have a big field somewhere. Suddenly that's all gone, pops up somewhere else, but in much less uh, 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 quantity. So how does nature work out there? Or, for example, with diseases in animals, are we responsible for it? People are climate change, this and that, but are they actually considering on how many poisons and chemicals and this, oh, just to keep clean, for example, or put on your face or whatever, are using out there, or to clean your house, right? Which again, just a little bleach, which evaporates. If you get regular bleach, right, it's biodegradable, right? Or vinegar is really great to clean with. All kinds of, it's just a little bit of soap, instead of, I'm just saying, yes? How's that affecting slowly or in certain places or suddenly certain things in nature? Yes? Again, I think climate change is a very natural occurrence for one reason or another, but there are other things that we should really pay a little bit more attention to, on what the cause actually is of certain things to suddenly deplete, right? So what are we doing here that suddenly our bats are, I don't know, I have no idea, because I'm really on top of things like that, even with the people that live around here. So, but it happened, but we had a bat in the house. And it kind of explained some of the noises that being here and going, what is that? It's like somebody's walking around on a ceiling or something. Interesting. Anywho, that's what I wanted to share this morning. Oh, I'm watching I've been really bored. Okay, bored. Kind of frustrated with there's nothing to watch. Nothing good to watch that I've not already seen, And then I end up going back to shows that, oh, this was really good, I'll rewatch that. And as I said, I often watch something while I'm doing other things, multitasking that way, right? Kind of in a way. No, it's what I like to do. And I asked my sister a few days ago, I said, So what show are you watching? Is there anything good? She likes to read, so she doesn't watch a whole lot of TV. She says, "Oh, I watched the Roku channel." I'm going, "Huh? We have Roku's here. Don't ask me how that got in the house. I didn't buy it. It just stuff just shows up here with people who stay here for a while and need to have whatever." And oh, okay, so there it is. So I have one on my TV, a little Roku thing. It's older than whatever, and probably eventually I'll get, "Oh, your little device needs to be upgraded. It's not supporting blah, 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 blah anymore," even though it works perfectly fine. So far, so good. Now, I had to say that, didn't I? And I'm going, "Oh, is that the thing?" So I went and checked it out. It's a great channel. It's an absolutely fantastic channel. You don't have to pay for it extra. It has some commercials, but it's not bad at all. And since I always do something else while I'm watching this, I, right? Oh, commercials on. Oh, and now I can really pay attention to what I'm doing, right? Yes, sewing, painting, playing my game, my what's it called? Roll. I come across every once in a while of someone, unless they're all AIs, who actually will beat me, which is always, whoa, well played. Anywho, it's a great channel. I recommend it to people if you have a Roku. If you've never checked out the Roku channel, which I didn't even know existed in a way. That's right out there. Has a lot of old stuff on it, and I have to say, a very clean channel. Even the commercials, I have to say, very clean, very, yep, I approve, okay. Of course, you have to choose again, what you watch, because, oh my gosh, really, that's so disappointing that these directors with all these good ideas or this good scripts can't make a movie where cussing and cursing doesn't exist. There's other ways to express your strong feelings than with that. Just, ugh. All right, so Found Alone. I love that show. I really do. And mainly to just, again, study what? Human psyche, right? Yes, I really do. That's one of my favorite things to do. Oh, then no, to just understand why we're having these conflicts in the world. Why is it that as a collective of people, we can't be more strict when it comes to living together in peace and harmony? Right? Yes? And they have all 13 seasons out there, or even more. 21? No, it's not 21. That was another show. Okay. And I'm just enthralled with on how people cope all alone somewhere where, yeah, you have to really support yourself 100%. Yes. Find food. It seems to be the hardest thing to do. Yes. To stay sane all alone for so long seems to be the truly hardest thing to do. Yes. Oh, I have another bout. I've been doing some work where my wrists are really being affected. And I've always had, after children, I'm sure every mom of multiple children will say, yep, carpal tunnel is just a thing. And I like to take care of things naturally. I'm not going for surgeries and stuff like that. And I've been really keeping it under control. It's kind of flaring up right now due to many different things that I'm doing with my hands. This snap and my wrists seem to be involved a lot. And I started having a little bout of something. And my sister-in-law, I was looking for my little just wrist guards, and she says, "Hey, I have these. You want to try those and just use those until you feel better?" So here they are. Right? Yes, yeah. Anyway, and already just wearing them yesterday for one day already has made a big old difference. Again, do I need a pill for this? Do I need surgery for this? No, look, somebody invented something that kind of stabilizes your wrists, gives them the rest that they need, and you can still work. Yes? And Okay, just saying. Okay, here we go. We are talked enough. In the second book of Chronicles 30. King Hezekiah now sent letters throughout all of Israel, Judah, Ephraim, and Manasseh, inviting everyone to come to the temple at Jerusalem for the annual Passover celebration. Oh. Who did he send these letters to? I'd like to know. The king, his aides, and all the assembly of Jerusalem had voted to celebrate the Passover in May this time, rather than at the normal time in April, because not enough priests were sanctified at the earlier date, and there wasn't enough time to get notices out. Wait a minute, was this not all... I can't, I have to honestly say I can't remember. Was this all a part of when God said this needs to be done? Or did they just decide already to begin with? And it really doesn't matter if you change it. And, okay, if... Well, anyway. Yeah, so we don't know. But we know the reason why. That's kind of sad. It just kind of tells us on how neglected God's way, God's ideal became, right? Yes? Because they had what? Kings? The king and his advisors were in complete agreement in this matter, so they sent a Passover proclamation throughout Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, inviting everyone. They had not kept it in great numbers as prescribed. Huh? Come back to the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Oh, that's the first time we're hearing about Abraham and Isaac again. The kings and Israel as all as one. King Hezekiah. Okay, all right. This is starting out really good here. The king's letter said, so that he will return to us who have escaped from the power of the kings of Assyria. Do not be like your fathers and brothers who sinned against the Lord God of their fathers and were destroyed. Do not be stubborn as they were, but yield yourselves to the Lord and come to his temple, which he has sanctified forever, and worship the Lord your God, so that his fierce anger will turn away from you. You need to freaking threats again. And who says that that was God's temple? He never even wanted that. All right, so here we go. So what is that now? Nay. For if you turn to the Lord again, your brothers and your children will be treated mercifully by their captors, and they will be able to return to this land. For the land your God is full of kindness and mercy, and will not continue to turn away his face from you if you return to him. Well, I can't... Okay, except for he's only merciful if whatever... Okay, that's not how I know my heavenly parent. But it's true that once one turns their face back to God, your life is just different. It is. I mean, oh, so everything is going to go hunky-dory, this and that. No, there's a strength that comes from acknowledging Heavenly Parent as the main center in our lives. It just makes everything different. It makes everything better understandable. Right? It teaches us in so many ways, even if we have never even heard, learned, or whatever. It's just suddenly there because of that original self that we are all born with, which is what? Part of God, image of God. Yes, it's just there. It's like if a child or an adult even has never had a pencil or a crayon or a colored pencil or a paintbrush in their hands, and suddenly they get one, and they're, oh, wow, they're really good at this because it's already naturally there, right? Yes, it's just they've never had the tools to work with it. Yes, I know. I was painting. Sorry. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then suddenly, their talent comes out, their gifts come out. And it's the same. When you start to turn to God, our Heavenly Parent, and give up all these doubts and all that other jazz out there that wants to tell you how to live, or on what is important. And if you just lay all that away, and you really truly turn your face back to our Heavenly Parent and that wonderful creation out there, and try to be a keeper, a user, but never an abuser, suddenly you'll find within yourself, oh my gosh, I'm capable of all this stuff suddenly. Right? Good things. Only good things eventually. Right? Yes? That's pretty amazing. I've experienced that in my own life, so it's not like I'm just talking theory. Anyway, okay. So the messengers went from city to city throughout Ephraim and Manasseh and as far as Zebulun. But for the most part, they were received with laughter and scorn. Oh, the guys are back already? However, some of the tribes of Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun turned to God and came to Jerusalem. But in Judah, the entire nation felt a strong God-given desire to obey, the Lord's direction as commanded by the king and his officers. See, even though it's rippling through, our Heavenly Parent will take whatever you're willing to give. That's great. And so it was that a very large crowd assembled at Jerusalem in the month of May for the Passover celebration. They set to work and destroyed the heathen altars in Jerusalem and knocked down all the incense altars and threw them into Kidron Brook. On the first day of May, the people killed their Passover lambs. Then the priests and Levites became ashamed of themselves for not taking a more active part, so they sanctified themselves and brought burnt offerings into the temple. What? Weren't they already all on the same page? See, there's more going on here again, right? Is it again that the priests and the Levites, who should be guiding the king, right, really are kind of, what is he doing here? This isn't going to be profitable to us. How much work are we going to have to do? Blah, 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 blah. Isn't this interesting, no? But the people, what do I always say about the common people? When the common people make up their minds, right, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? This is kind of telling us that again. Hey. And they didn't want to, they were ashamed of themselves. They should be. They stood at their posts as instructed by the law of Moses, the man of God, and the priests sprinkled the blood received from the Levites. Gosh, aren't the priests all Levites too? Why are they making this distinction here again? Yeah. Again, the hierarchy of anything, right? The priests here obviously are what? Above the Levites? That's not how it's supposed to be, right? Just because you're a little bit more enlightened or this, that doesn't mean that you're suddenly above someone else who knows how to grow vegetables really, really, really well out there. Huh? Yes? Just saying. Since many of the people arriving from Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, and Zebulun were ceremonially impure because they had not undergone the purification rites, the Levites killed their Passover lambs for them to sanctify them. Then King Hezekiah prayed for them, and they were permitted to eat the Passover anyway, even though this was contrary to God's rules. Oh, that wasn't God's rules. This is just, again, hierarchy stuff. Oh, don't even give me that. Oh my gosh. Who believes this? But Hezekiah said, May the good Lord pardon every one who determines to follow the Lord God of his fathers, even though he's not properly sanctified for the ceremony. Oh, dear me. And the Lord listened to Hezekiah's prayer and did not destroy them. Oh, really? Oh. So the people of Israel celebrated the Passover at Jerusalem for 7 days with great joy. Party for a whole week. Meanwhile, the Levites and priests praised the Lord with music and cymbals day after day. King Hezekiah spoke very appreciatively to the Levites of their excellent music. So for so for 7 days, that's just the stuff that they put in here, like, okay. So for 7 days the observance continued, and peace offerings were sacrificed, and the people confessed their sins to the Lord of their fathers. The enthusiasm continued, so no doubt it's a party. The enthusiasm, who doesn't like a party? The enthusiasms continued, so it was unanimously decided to continue the observance for another 7 days. Ay, too much of a good thing isn't good either. King Hezekiah gave the people 1,000 young bulls for offerings and 7,000 sheep, and the princes donated 1,000 young bulls and 10,000 sheep. And at this time another large group of priests stepped forward and sanctified themselves. Oh, I always find it interesting when things go good and all this stuff comes, I don't know that people brought all kinds of goodies and then the people who were first, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. Oh, look at all this good stuff. Yeah, I'm coming now too. I am qualified to be sanctified and be a priest. Because they're seeing what? Well, tell me it wasn't so. I guarantee you. Why did they not step forward right to begin with? In April, for example. Just asking. Then the people of Judah, together with the priests, the Levites, the foreign residents, and the visitors from Israel, were filled with deep joy. For Jerusalem hadn't seen a celebration like this once since the days of King David's son Solomon. Yeah. Then the priests and Levites stood and blessed the people, and the Lord heard their prayers from his holy temple in heaven. Ooh. And then the Crusades started. We'll get to that. Anyway, that was a long one. The dogs are already back. And it's getting closer and closer. Now it looks like I have no idea when I'm exactly going up there to be with my daughter, my daughters and their families, all. But it could be much sooner rather than later, and I've done things, but I'm still got. All right, I always feel like I have a lot to do, right? Yes, and then when it comes down to it, I can be ready in 2 or 3 hours. I always want to bring the best of the best of the best and more best and better with me to when I go to another place. Yes? And of course then I'd like to have, so in order to beat that, I'd like to have everything that makes me the best of the best of the best and the better and the this and the that, right, here with me. And what is all that? Well, I got to have my one cast iron pan with me, for example. Okay, just say. So it's all these things and my rolling pin. Just saying. Anyway, so I decided, you know what? I want to just wait. I know that they're all working on whatever to get me there, and instead of me now going, so when do I have to be ready? Blah, blah, blah. And they're already, I'm just going to wait until the call comes. Say, Mom, we're coming to pick you up. Day after tomorrow. Be ready. And I'll go, okay. Right? And then I'll get, also, it's not like I'm going at 5 states over or something. I'm only going to be, 2 to 3 hours away. So if I need to come and make a list of what I need from here, come back and visit and get whatever else I need. Yes? Yeah. Okay. To go back to Hezekiah. There was one thing that I found that never, ever works. And that is when you get on this spiritual high. They're all on a spiritual high right now, right? Yes, with King Hezekiah, the temple, the party, extending the party out another week, this and that. Was that part of? I'm just saying. And they're going to come down from their spiritual high. And my feeling is that then the destruction of certain things is going to start rather than restoring them. Right? Or starting to teach the people again. Right? Yes? Let's see what happens next. Sadly, when people get on a spiritual high, right, and have these epiphanies, suddenly are given all this really great information, rather than staying righteous, humble and righteous, and kind of keep studying and then keep on giving in that way, they become self-righteous. They start pointing fingers, persecute, judge, this and that. Right? Anything around them, out there, that isn't like them. It's true, isn't it? That's a bad, bad pit to fall into. Yes? And anything that's been given to the people out there, when it comes to all that, was for naught. Again, yes, yeah. But we're learning, right? We keep on learning. I keep on teaching. Done. And I have a bat in the house. I know I have a bat in the house. Which, okay, I said, they're not. They've never made me sick in all these years, and I lived with 2 or 3 bats down when I was down in the other room. I tried to get them out, but somehow they always make it back in. Never got bitten or this or that. That's it. People hear one story of something, and then that kind of seems, which is very rare, right? And not the common occurrence or state of and being of something. And it suddenly becomes the rule. Right? It suddenly becomes, oh, that's a common occurrence. That's a common, right? It gets completely pulled out of proportion. And then, of course, the fear of the people on anything, that gets pulled into it, and then it gets really blown out of proportion. It's true. Right? Yes? Gotta get away from that. May Heavenly Father bless you and protect you. And I will talk to you all another time.